one's going out to all my native sisters. Throw your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. This one's going out to all my native sisters. Throw your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. This one's going out to all my native sisters. Throw your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. This one's going out to all my native sisters. Throw your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. Let the truth be known that the women are the backbone, the foundation of a strong home. Their sensual curves, beautiful like the feathers of a quetzal bird. They make you feel so amazing with just 3 words. They have the power of attraction, make your heart have a reaction. Their beauty is medicine but can be poison if you mistreat, use and abuse them. So why always strive to be genuine, but it's so hard to be a gentleman. I'm trying to defeat that machismo man that lives inside of me. So please forgive me if I ever did anything to hurt you. The things I said, I just didn't think through. I hope that you know that my love is true, and I'll always remain loyal to you. Madre Tonantzin, Goyo Shauki, the beautiful beings, the night in the light, the keepers of life, the warrior to the right. Always respect your moms and your wife.
This one's going out to all my native sisters. Put your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. This one's going out to all my native sisters. Put your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. This one's going out to all my native sisters. Keep your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. You represent the strength in our community. Because of you, we've had this longevity. 513 years of resistance due to your love and persistence. I wanna thank you for your insistence, continuing our existence. Your endurance prevented a complete holocaust, and if not for you, the culture would have been lost. And I know it's been a great personal cost, and because of that, we have seen today. Yo, some may say that I'm dropping this verse cause I'm looking to get paid, but I'm just giving the respect that needs to get paid. Long overdue, so I wanna take this moment to say thank you.
This is going out to all the native sisters. Put your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. This is going out to all my native sisters. Put your hands up, make sure that it's the fist first. Peace to all women worldwide, mothers, sisters, daughters, wives. Your lives and love have kept us afloat when all else fails. You always bring hope and inspiration, raising the nation. You are the source of all creation. It's why I believe a woman's the creator. Just look at Mother Earth and Mother Nature, Grandmother Moon. It's through your womb that our lives derive and continue to shine. And every guy in the place know that it's true. Everything that we doing for you, whether a sister or a mother or a daughter or a lover. And if you with one of them right now, you better hug her and let her know that her soul is queen, cause she's the backbone of society.
Esta es dedicada para todas las hermanas. Levanten sus manos así, bien empuñadas. Esta es dedicada para todas las hermanas. Levanten sus manos así, bien empuñadas. Esta es dedicada para las madres solteras, defendiendo a los hijos siempre como unas fieras. Hermanas guerrilleras, cruzando fronteras. Creadora de todo, siempre tú eras. Madre, a hoy te quiero yo decir un montón de cosas que me hiciste sentir y pedir perdón por cómo te hice yo sufrir. Nunca había pensado en las cosas que has pasado y que muchas de tus penas yo las había causado. Perdóname, aunque no esté arrodillado, pero yo sé que me vas a perdonar, porque el amor de una madre es incondicional. Gracias por tu sola mantener a tus hijos con mucho sufrimiento, suficientes sacrificios. Espero tú creas que valió la pena. Por ti trataré de ser gente muy buena.
Want to know the secret of authentic content?
Chevelle, live in concert.
Khalifa Aslan, Michigan, Minnesota. The time is now. There's no more time left to wait. Today. Look, the connection has been made. Aslan, Minnesota, let's do it. Quabbly, Mexico, Minnesota brought the fire. Reach out, Khalifa, slang past the wire. Omeka brought the sunset. Vu keeps the earth wet. Low snob fertilized the seeds that haven't bloomed yet. Do the dance of Mesley in honor of my Siwat. Science of Tonali to bring you to Anawak. Cultivate the medicine, teach it till it's evident. Don't stop, won't stop. Truth is the sentiment. Machete, metal lion in. We keep the fire hot. Spot burn down. Center stage for the flame to rot. Taste it. We add a little sour to your sugar glaze. Red stars, apathy's the mask that covers my face. No petal roses, there's rows of us hopeless. We brought the bricks, building up conscious little warriors. Cut down your conflict, shut up your logic. Break you off like the treaties broken by your fathers. Red road, keep on walking. Red road, keep on walking.
Straight from Tonantzin, straight from Tonatiuh. Get the knowledge, not from college, from grandmother moon. Then I run into you like a relay race. Moving at the speed of life, gotta keep up pace. Stay moving like Olean flowing. My soul sings with life and light, which the soul brings. I know things ain't right throughout these countries. Corrupted officials killing young seeds. But we, the people, outnumber their guns. And we, the people, get our strength from the sun. Many millennium have come to pass, and we still here standing upon our lands with knowledge passed from Koyo Shauki. No doubt she and Tonatiuh help me and you. Look at how we do. March 25th, 06, 1 million deep in the street. Oh shit.
Red road, keep on walking. Red road, keep on walking.
Despierta! All my people in the ghetto, from the slumber, risen from the under, now walking within the struggle de la tierra. We grow seeds, we moving, we do this, we holding it down, fool, we grow dreams. Óyeme, el Bulos, Nami, the Olmec, todos diferentes pero con un solo nombre. Independence, el pueblo en pie de lucha, busca, escucha, opina, pero siempre lucha. Únete, muévete ya. San Fernando, Minnesota, El Sereno on the map. Unify. My word is my weapon and I'm strapped. On the red road, walk forward through rap.
Red road, keep on walking.
Yo, check it. The enemy introducing spit fire.
Red road, keep on walking.
Yo, it's that new philosophy. I won't die for the streets, I'd rather live for my peace. Check it. Regresado, I got streets soldados from los cuatro lados. East side, west side, north side, south side. Always down to right, straight guerrilleros. Smashing like traleros, oppressive opposition. Changing hearts and minds, unlike the Inquisition. I do it with precision, like my ancestors, the brain and heart surgeon. Check the insurgents, cholas con pistolas, pumping elbow rolas. Street bandilleros, now ego guerreros. Igual como el jaguar, on the prowl. As we say it real loud, I won't die for the streets, I'd rather live for my peeps. Yo soy el enemigo, victory's alter ego. Like Buckley the eagle, I fly a little higher, now known as Spitfire. My lyrical choir, been bringing the fire to this evil empire. The people showed that we know no defeat. We rose like the rose that rose from concrete. El Fu Olmeca nos now bring the heat. And Zero David Maker once again brings the beat.
Like a Chinatzli, we breaking through the skin. I listen to the elders that live within. They tell me the stories of when it began and where we will end up when it all ends. Walk the red road, follow your soul. Don't fall off like the petals of a dying rose. We're all meant to grow like a Xochitl in the soul. The prophecy's been told. Your lengua is the gold that the Spaniards never stole. Keep following the stars like an ancient calendar. They tell you where you are, they tell you where you stand. Anahuac is the land of the ancient Mexican. Anahuac is the land of the ancient Mexican. Anahuac is the land of the ancient Mexican.
The structure.
Sometimes life hurts like a natural birth, and growing up poor will make you feel worthless. What a mess, can you pass the test? The things that it brings, a bowl full of beans, some know what I mean. Babies having babies at the age of 15 with no rings and no things. rings. Street fiends trying to fly with no wings. All up in your faces, you can't escape this. Live your life in a 3-mile radius. Life for us, survive we must. In the dollar we trust, for the women we lust. Giving me a face of disgust.
Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual? I'm just trying to get control of my soul. Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual? I'm just trying to get control of my soul. Existence within the system is survival. It's turning my thoughts suicidal, similar to Biggie's recital, but it's vital I stay alive so I can keep spitting what's written in my heart, uplifting with this art form of verbal expression, holding a lethal weapon in my possession's not a 9-hour clock. It's a mind with a thought that'll shine in the dark. Yeah, I'm knowing it's hard to believe in God when everything's fucked up, everyone's drugged up, and you're thinking love sucks cause all the betrayal has turned your heart frail. Please don't fail to continue to sail across life's oceans. Learn to master your emotions. Keep your hope in your heart, faith in your soul. It's the only way to go.
NAP's planetary alignment to represent a solar eclipse. From out the lips of the sky serpent resurrects ancestral silhouettes. Bare feet to feel the heat as they listen to the heartbeat of Tonantzin. Dancing in a serpentine pattern like the ring around Saturn. They turn and return, illuminating the path back to the stars. Synchronizing with Mars, re-establishing harmony with every galaxy. As Mercury transforms and forms a linear image, creating the bridge from which the sky serpent shall travel. Up in the sky, it's not a bird or a plane, it's Quetzalcoatl to reclaim his name. Looking spectacular as he passes to Jupiter, creating an incredible spectrum with the rays of the sun. Feel the hum of the drum as you witness a paradox. It's a spring equinox foretold by the sunspots, and Venus has returned to cleanness from all the negative energy. All humanity prepare for the cleansing and purification. Last chance for salvation.
Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual? I'm just trying to get control of my soul. Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual? I'm just trying to get control of my soul.
Yo, LA Natives Podcast, Las Aslan Natives Podcast. Shout out to all the early birds right here in the building, in the chat. It's lit, Zero.
Right on. How you doing, Quali?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Everything's cool, man. I'm really excited to do the show again. Like, I was looking at the screen, and it's kind of like performing at a show because, you know, you only do this once a week, and people are like, you know, on the chat already, you know, typing away, and then, you know, the music stops, and then we get to, you know, say hi, you know. So I always like that part, to be able to say hi to LA Natives community, because I know that this community works hard to fix what's happening out there. Contribute.
And we're going to open up the phone lines. Just all we ask, they'll be coming at us with that bullshit.
Yeah. Look, this platform is talking about specific needs that need to be addressed in our community. We only have time to address that. I know that there's personal stuff that happens outside of this podcast, but this podcast is dedicated to addressing these issues. Unless it's like something that we can help you in terms of like legally or whatever we can do in that case, then we will do whatever we can to make sure that everyone's safe here. We're not promoting anyone. The only thing we promote here is the healing of our community and an assessment of what needs to be addressed. That's all we deal with here.
This is not No Jumper podcast where everyone's fucking snitching on each other and they're all getting arrested. They're all getting indicted by the feds.
Yeah. No, this is not a drama, cancel culture podcast. This podcast talks about addressing the needs of our people who are being who are being put in a situation in a very dangerous situation because of the way things are being, put to our community. People who have actual citizenship, paperwork, are being taken off the street just because they have an accent or just because they look a certain way. And
since day one, right, Zero, we don't censor anybody. This is a public forum. We're not trying to take away anyone's voice.
but we are stopping gossip, rumors, old things that are not relevant to the community, that what addresses the community. Whatever, look, this is neutral ground here. This is like everybody huddling in. You know, I recently reposted a thing on my TikTok about how Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull and Red Cloud had to sit with other natives that maybe had beef. You know, maybe they fought each other, maybe they killed one another, but they had to put all that aside to address what was at hand. And what was at hand was that the colonial army was coming into their territory after they told them not to. And they'll never tell these stories in our thing, but these guys were heroes and they kicked them out. They starved them out. They strategically defeated them. They'll never write about those stories, but that's what happened. So we need to be like that. We need to have that kind of a focus, because what's at stake is innocent lives suffering more. And I believe that our community has the will, the intelligence, the organization to at least contribute to safety or safety zones or safety spaces for people who need it. This is what we're addressing here, nothing else. If you have a personal issue, please address it on another platform, because this personal issue is very deep and very dangerous. Because right now in Miami, there's a very serious situation happening there, right? Where they have
The Chrome Detention Center.
Yeah, so you want to talk a little bit about that?
Right, in Miami, the Chrome Detention Center, ICE Detention Center, they have thousands of Mexicans, people from Latin America that are undocumented, but also we don't know who's in there. There could be ones that are citizens too, and also ones that are documented. And this facility was only supposed to handle, according to the updated reports, that it was only supposed to handle 40,000, but it has 46,000 in there, so 6,000 more than it can handle.
Right.
And it could be even more than that, but and they're actually concentration camps at this point because they are starved. There's not enough food for them. There's not enough water. There's a cup of water per day, per 24 hours,
Right.
per person.
Right.
And there's no bathroom privileges. It's just whenever they let you go.
Wow.
You know.
That's
And some women have reported that they had to go in the floors of the vans during transportation.
mm-hmm.
That they were told to just defecate in the floor.
Wow. Wow.
Right.
Now, at that point, now you're psychologically affecting these individuals because.
Oh yeah, and 3 have died already.
Right. I mean, this is more of a psychological torture now, in the sense of not being able to. Human rights is they get treated properly, they're not abused, they get restroom privileges, they get communication privileges. This is the way you humanely treat people. What is happening now is just a blatant, unorganized assault on people, and then housing them and using federal money to do that. And
Right, they're profiting.
well, it's what Donald Trump is saying, though. It's not Donald Trump, but it's what this administration. That's what we should call it. This administration. It's not Donald Trump. I don't want to give him that credit, but it's this administration's plan, right? This is the way they create jobs, right? Well, go join ICE. Go start hunting down all these people, right? And then they're gonna, be very good at it and take away a lot of people at the same time, but not have a structure to house them. But why should they care about housing people that are less than them? Because that's when they come to, the people on the street, they're just like breaking their car windows, pulling them out, not even asking,
Right.
They're just blatantly just destroying their property and, taking away individuals who have actual documentation and asking questions later, putting them through a disorganized system and then losing them. And then, hopefully they don't get sick or hurt or whatever kind of psychological torture goes when you go to these places. this is a very serious thing because they're swarming in on people in the street.
Yeah, they just discriminate them based off their skin color, their brown skin, and that people from Latin America, brown people from Latin America. If you speak Spanish, that pair together, then they are picking you up. And then they'll release you days later when they verify that you're a citizen. It happened to several Mexican people already, people from other Latin nations.
Oh man, luckily they let them go, because it just doesn't look. When you put money into solving this issue, money goes into housing them. So that's why I think they're just picking up everyone, because they're still going to get paid for it.
That's why they're doing it. You're right.
It's kind of like, if we think about it, let's look at the video and then I'll tell you what I feel.
He was filming inside an ICE concentration camp. He was pleading for his life and the life of all the other immigrants in there. He pleaded, saying, "We are being held hostage, please help." And he even begged for help and asked Claudia Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, to do something for her people. This is unacceptable. These are concentration camps that abuse migrants and immigrants. The abuse has been confirmed by internal services. They are being starved. They are thirsty, only given 1 cup of water per day, are denied bathroom privileges, are denied medical attention. People in ICE concentration camps are losing their lives. And don't even think about saying FAFO, fuck around and find out, to these people in ICE detention centers. It is a shame that members of the Black community started that trend, and so many other people followed. This is an updated voting poll. Brown people voted for Kamala Harris more, but you fall for the colonizers' divisive tactics, the inaccurate voting polls, the initial propaganda. It is immature and immoral to be centering that type of a response to a community being mass deported in prison concentration camps and tossed out of the country to who knows where without any rights or contact to any lawyer or family, when we should be focused on solidarity. And this has to stop immediately, especially those of you who claim to be activists perpetuating this FAFOBS nonsense. It is dangerous. It only further divides our communities, our solidarity, and silences the voices of these people inside ICE detention concentration. This week, a Mexican man went viral.
Man. Wow. That's...
No.
That's...
They're just grabbing it. Remember I told you,
Right.
48 hours, you're already...
Yeah, you're somewhere else.
There is no more due process, right? Remember I told you people are getting deported, and within 2 days they're back in their homeland.
Right. Yeah. Right. And people,
Or not
the
even
most,
in El Salvador.
the most, that's the scary one.
Well, look, this is even worse. They're even taking American citizens,
Exactly.
the bad ones, and they're taking them to that El Salvador prison, dog.
Right.
All the white boys, like imagine some white boy getting sent over there. He's done. He's murdered.
Man, but it's not necessarily that he's gonna get beat up by the gang members there. It's just what they're developing. What they're developing is, I believe, like a world prison. This is like a world prison where they have a leader that's willing to put that type of authoritarian twist to being in prison.
Right, the white boys, the blacks, the Mexicans, the Asians. Now they're claiming that the reason why they're doing that because it's going to help America save money. Because to incarcerate these people, let's say there's a lifer, that's a murderer, it costs apparently hundreds of thousands of dollars per year just to keep them in jail. Over in El Salvador, they're cutting that shit in 80%.
Oh, okay. So they're only going to pay $20,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, makes sense. I mean, but just the whole.
But that's just wrong. You can't just take someone and put them in another country.
Right. Yeah. Without due process, without going through trial, without.
Even with the process, the other countries are speaking up and saying you can't do that to our prisoners.
Right.
You have to have relations with other nations.
Right.
About what you're going to do. You can't just grab people and throw them.
That's like Maduro,
throw 'em out.
right? Maduro from Venezuela. I saw
Venezuela.
that.
He
Yeah.
spoke up. Yeah.
Yeah, he spoke up and he was telling I forgot how to pronounce his name, Bukele, Bukele, the El Salvadorian president. He's kind of shaming him for accepting the U.S. Prisoners. The prisoners that came, the supposedly Venezuelan gangs that got sent there. It's like, you're not supposed to send them to El Salvador. You're supposed to send them to Venezuela. You're deporting them. You're deporting them. You're not imprisoning them.
It's in a way, it's just kind of colonial, disrespectful. Like, you don't even consult with the other leaders.
It's a unique shift in the world, but I kind of understand
like an alliance forming.
It is. There you go. It's relationships between countries that have authoritarian governments. I talked about this earlier. I talked about this earlier in my podcast. And that back in the day when I was younger, we had one dictator that they would talk about. There was one dictator that they would highlight, like, I don't know, Saddam Hussein or or the guy from North Korea, Kim Jong. There would be one, right? It wouldn't be like, oh, El Salvador has one, and North Korea has one now, and now Russia's one, and all of a sudden you start to see the leaders of the world, or at least the countries that have big business and have a lot to say, have authoritarian type leadership. Yeah. El Salvador has authoritarian. China has authoritarian. Russia has authoritarian. The only ones that really don't have that type of style yet is Europe. Europe hasn't gotten to that place yet. But they kind of always were, because the church kind of dominates Ireland. It dominates England. They're kind of ruled by other things other than
in the
political
UK.
climate.
In the UK, if you tweet or you Facebook or Instagram something negative about the government, you're arrested, or there's a warrant out for your arrest.
That is true.
Oh, see, so there you go.
You up too.
So there you go.
They'll fucking snatch you up real quick. They'll find you at exactly where you're at, dude. Like,
Yeah. So there you go. I didn't know that. I'm not too.
you weren't aware of that?
Germany.
I was
too.
not
A lot
aware
of
of
dudes
that.
from the UK had to come to America because they're wanted out there. Because all they're doing is like speaking against the opposition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and now it's starting to become that here.
But they want to bring that here.
Right. No, but now it's starting to become that here. Before, people would come here and they go, "Oh yeah, I'm moving to America because I have free speech now. Now I could say whatever I want. I could, have whatever religion I want, whatever it is." But now America's starting to turn into this authoritarian like governance. Let's be real. That's what it is. When you do not consult the structure of government that was designed to have there was a reason why they had the Congress and the House or however order it is.
The checks and balances.
Right. To stop a president from going, hey, you know what? I want to do this and I want to do that. And they would go, wait. We got to fucking vote on it. And we got to vote on it here. And then once they vote on it here, then it goes through here. This is what they're talking about. Like, oh, all that's bullshit. All that's corruption. Look at Doge found all these things because we went through that way, and now it's this. Now we're just gonna do it. Blah 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 blah.
Or just executive order sign. That's it.
Yeah, sign.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. Sign. So they're overwhelming. They're doing it on purpose. They're trying to break this government, right? They're trying to break this government because this government isn't like England, where they come and they arrest you. Because if they did, people would kind of protest and start defending you, and it's not ready yet. It'll revolt.
If you really want that type of government, then why not just go back home to that government that you so desire?
It's not that it's not that. Well,
but according to Mark Zuckerberg, remember I sent you that video that now he's claiming Facebook is no holds barred. They're not gonna censor anybody.
It's
supposedly.
It's like, okay, America was tricky because George Carlin, the comedian, kind of talked about this. He said, America is an illusion because it gives you the illusion of choice. And what he meant by the illusion of choice was that You could pick 50 different flavors of ice cream, right? But the minute you start questioning why the ice cream costs so much and who's behind it and how they're exploiting it, then you don't have a choice. But you have a choice to pick whatever flavor you want, because that doesn't matter with the way we rule the world. The way we rule the world is there's no choice in that. We tell you how we're going to rule the world, and that's where we're kind of being pushed towards and manipulated towards.
Yeah,
right?
It feels like the walls are closing in.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Because, 10 years ago, you could talk freely about it. You can talk badly about George Bush. And, with the phenomenon of YouTube, where people started uploading so much information so quickly, and other countries started knowing, and now this information superhighway is awakening poor people that elite families have been controlling government, making wars, profiting off of
Once
it.
it had kept the blind for so many
Right.
centuries.
And there's still, and right now, since the population is quote unquote out of control, according to the elite families, that's really where we're at, is that, I kind of look at it like this. It's only a few families. I don't care if it's 1,000 families, but it's only a few families holding up a metaphoric plate, and the population sits on that plate. But not only the population sits on the plate, the resources of the world sit on that plate. So that plate is heavy, and I believe those families kind of wobble with it. It's not like they could hold that plate steady. They don't have that type of discipline or communication or unity. They fight amongst each other. And this is why we have disruptions like Trump and, CIA kind of governance, where, other people from other countries can manipulate the government to pass laws that affect their trade or whatever, for whatever it may be. This is like global politics. So, but when I say global politics, right away, we erase in our mind, the elite families, they don't have anything to do with global politics. They are global politics. Elite families are global politics. Mm-hmm. Corporations are global politics. Right. Population is the people that work for all these things I just said. Mm-hmm. And you're to follow orders. Mm-hmm. But it's now starting to close in on us, because now we have direct proof that they're not treating humans humanely. This is what we're pointing out by bringing this video to light, right. Is that it's not humane to store that facility. From what I heard, I think the numbers were that it was built for 500, but they have 4,000 there. So they built a facility for 500 people. That means they built refrigerators big enough to feed 500 people. They didn't build refrigerators and kitchens and restrooms and rooms and whatever else they need to build. Whatever they built that facility for was to house 500 people. They have 4,000 people there now. That's what?
I think it's a lot more now.
And see, they still keep bringing people there. This is a different thing now. This is beyond civil rights. This is beyond civil rights. This is beyond people going.
A violation of human rights.
Yeah.
And civil rights.
Because a lot of those people that are there have documentation to not even be there. I don't know why they're there. They could be there because the ICE agent had an attitude, and that kind of a thing, profiling.
De 30 días y no han sido procesadas. Por favor, que esto se haga viral, ayúdenos, marquen la Comisión Nacional de Derechos Humanos, marquen por favor a las televisoras del Estado. Esto no es una broma, esto es en serio, por favor, ayúdenos. Es el Chrome de Miami, Florida. Por favor, ayúdenos. Claudia Sheinbaum, sé que vas a ver esto. Habemos muchos mexicanos aquí sufriendo discriminación. hermanos venezolanos, hermanos guatemaltecos, ayúdenos, por favor. No nos permiten hablar no nos permiten llamadas telefónicas, no podemos hacer absolutamente nada. No es solo mi testimonio, van a escuchar más testimonios. Por favor, hagan viral esto.
Yo, this is some crazy footage, right, Zero?
That's a waiting room, bro. That's not even a place where there's no bed. There's only seats. And they've probably been in there for days.
Yeah.
Or weeks.
He said up to months, some of them months.
Months in that same room.
Yeah.
In that same room.
Somewhere in there.
Because that facility only housed 500 people. So they're using different offices and rooms as cells.
They don't get medical attention.
You could clearly see it. It looks like a waiting room. It's not a cell. That's not a cell. The cell would be like have beds.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is chairs. And then they don't turn the lights off.
And that's why it's important to share this video, circulate it as much as people can, because then, the judges can review this footage, right?
Whether they do something about it, I don't know where we are. But we do have to, look, let's not.
Or the United Nations.
I agree with sharing it as much as you can, because we got to remember one thing. And I don't want it to sound too new agey, but collective consciousness shifts realities. They distract us. They do things like this so that we get upset and we get off of our center and we feel like there's no hope, but there is hope. And it doesn't have to be that we surround the building and, start yelling at them to let them go. But collective consciousness brings answers. Collective consciousness, you got to understand that the earth is alive, the air is alive, the fire is alive, the wind is alive. These elements create life and reality. We have to start taking control of that by collectively, consciously wanting this to stop. Not in desperation, but in confidence, in protection. Now's the time to organize your communities. I saw some posts earlier this year about somebody who does have American citizenship with a bullhorn telling everyone, hey, they're here, everybody's here. I saw something in Alhambra where they spotted them kind of huddling up, and they got their bullhorns out, and they told them that they didn't accept their attack on our community. Those type of things have to happen on a regular.
Yeah. Well, they do. They're having the patrols out there.
Good. And then who does that so that we know?
Boyle has the CSO and Barrio Unión, something like that. Mm-hmm. And CSO Centro Cultural. Mm-hmm. They patrol regularly and dispatch to each other.
And this is what we need to be involved with. How many hours can we dedicate to that?
They take volunteers.
So let's try to locate these organizations in our community. Mm-hmm. Let's volunteer as many times. This is what's going to bring our spirits back up. This is what their spirit of Crazy Horse is gonna come back. Yeah. Hey, Mondo, you could pull up my TikTok?
I agree with you. We need to be.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
See if you could pull up my TikTok. I want to share one of the posts that I posted recently, and it's the one that talks about Red Cloud and Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse. And then we'll go into this brother's prophecy.
But also the patrols and all that, those people organizing these things that are necessary to bring the change are the same people protesting. So I believe we need the protest as well. Mm-hmm. The reason we need the protest is so that we can recruit to do those patrols.
I don't have a problem with protesting.
The louder, the better.
I don't have a problem with protesting. I have my issues with it because I feel like some people just feel like either they're going to go break windows or they're going to go do it and then go home and then feel comfortable that they did enough. So I think you're bringing up an important point that if we do go to protest, go within mind of joining a group, joining an organization, because somebody organized the protest. And if they're organizing the protest, then they're organizing the security forces that are going to roam through our neighborhoods to keep our people safe. So join them. Just do the extra step.
Yeah.
It doesn't
not
matter
everyone can join. That's okay. But if enough people do, that is going to help, obviously, the movement. But it's okay if not everyone can do, because everyone, like, some people are family people. They can't really, they got to work or take care of the family. Everyone got something going on.
But at this point, though, we have to contribute something. If you can't.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they came to the protest, that's contributing what you can right there at the base minimum.
Right.
And we need that. Like, we want to encourage people to attend.
And then if you want to take it a step further and you can't join the organization, say like, oh no, my family, I don't want the drama.
Get involved.
But hey, here's a case of water.
Is this your TikTok?
Yeah. And then if you go to, there's one that I put, let me see. Okay, the warrior one. Come down. That guy. This guy had a really good. He had a really good perspective of what a warrior is, and this is what I'm trying to. He kind of inspired me, and this is what I'm trying to articulate. Is what he says here. Does the sound not come up? Sorry, guys. But what he's basically saying there is that, warriors were protectors. Warriors were not just tough guys who were not afraid to fight and not afraid to put their lives on the line. But they were more about protecting, being humble, because they knew that at one point they were going to give their life to their community. And so this is what I'm trying to encourage, not violence. I'm not trying to encourage violence. I'm trying to encourage awareness. Awareness could be a group of people like, Enamorado. What was his name?
Edin Enamorado.
Yeah, when he used to go defend the shout out to him and prayers are to him, because I know he's still incarcerated and we have him in our heart and in our mind. But this brother started a movement of protection. A real warrior would go protect these food vendors, right? Go to the city officials and tell them, no, this is the law. You're lying to these people, and this is the law. Mm-hmm. We need that type of warriorship in our communities now. We need leaders, but don't sacrifice yourself, because it's a false image. I think if we can get this perspective, really, I think it'll help.
Showing love, empathy, compassion, and kindness, and respecting the evolving role that women and Two-Spirit people have, and doing what you can to make sure that you're creating a safe space for children to learn in, to live in, creating a safe space for coworkers, fellow students to feel good about being safe there, offering up your seat, being the last to eat, making sure that the children know as much as they can, whatever you know about the language, the ceremonies, the songs, the dances, your creation stories, making sure children know that. If you have the ancient war clubs or any sort of warrior items that your men use from your nation, repurpose those to be a tool, a symbol for all these things that I just mentioned. Don't just hang it up on your wall. Use it, pray with it, use it in ceremony, run with it, work out with it. Let it be a symbol to restore what it truly means to be an Indigenous man in 2025.
Crazy.
I think that we have to really, as men, and I'm only speaking for men right now because women will have their own way to approach this, but we have to learn to be clever warriors. And sometimes we get wrapped up in the passion of helping our people, and then we when we slip and fall, the whole community feels it. So we have to get to a point where we all are strong leaders, so that when someone falls, someone else just replaces them. And then we can contribute to change. Because no matter how they attack our communities, there are independent hearts. There are independent dreamers. There are independent people who kind of channel in what the earth is trying to say. And Wally brought up this post from this brother right here. What was his name called? Gary. And he dreamt about unity. Did you give him the time points?
Yeah, it's on the screenshot.
And I see this military, and I see it looks like Arizona. This place kind of looks like Arizona. But I see this military, and they're coming with a tank. They have one tank, and they're coming. And behind them are soldiers. And they're coming, and then I see these Navajo people, these Navajo brothers and sisters. And they're in these little, they kind of look like huts. They look like these huts or something, like almost like an igloo shape kind of thing. And they run in it. They run in it, and they go in there. And he tells me to keep an eye on it. He goes, watch. And they're digging a hole further in, like they're trying to hide from something, and they just keep digging. And they're doing this, and they're panicking. And you can hear the ground shaking. When a tank's on top of the ground, you can hear this shaking, and you hear them screaming underneath. And this guy's trying to protect his family, so he's telling them to keep it down. And you hear these other people coming through. And whoever is in command, you can hear him on top. He's saying, look everywhere. They're trying to hide, look everywhere. Just keep looking. And they keep doing this. And then I come back out of that crystal, from looking into this crystal that ancestor's showing me. He goes, that hasn't happened yet.
Yo, crazy.
This is what I mean about collective consciousness. The government has to, or people in power have to collectively control that. But how do you control independent hearts and independent thoughts and independent dreams? And this is what this brother's trying to explain.
He just described what seems like a war and people hiding underground and hiding their families.
That's crazy.
This part, he starts talking about the Mexicans.
Oh, okay.
Everything. Where the trees, where the grass. He starts naming everything, and he goes, we're connected like that. Danska. You're connected like that. Tells me, I want you to warn them. Warn everybody. He goes, it's already started. And then he starts talking about the Spanish. He starts talking about Spanish people, Mexicans. He said that we're going to join with them. We're going to join. They're a part of us. He says they're a part of us. And he goes, and there's going to be these people. He said they're going to look like white people, he said. He goes, they're already here, but they're going to come to you guys. They're going to come to you guys. He goes, they're going to be wearing these scarves on their face. He said they're going to be wearing these scarves on their face, and they're going to help you guys. He goes, you guys are going to be one. connected with them. He said, but they're going to help you guys. They're not going to let that happen. These people are not going to let them take you guys out, because he said, because they know that they lost their country the same way. So shake your brother and your sister's hand, he said. You guys are going to need each other. And that's what I remember. I kind of wish I dreamt a little bit more, but I didn't. And I'm trying to figure out who these people are that he's saying that are going to wear scarves on their face. He said they look like a white person, but he goes, they're a part of us. He said, but they're going to have these scarves on their face, and they lost their country, he said. He said they'll fight with us.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is if you can go back to my TikTok real quick, and it's the second video before I address like what his dream is. I want to show the TikTok of the unity between. It's the second video from. Hold on one second. That's a powerful dream. That was cool. Thank you for bringing that one up, because Quali found that. But I've seen that brother quite a bit. His posts are pretty long, but he comes out with some stuff that's just incredibly profound and honest and from the heart. You could tell his dreams are from the heart. That one.
This one?
Yeah.
And it was from early when Trump started, January 30th.
Right. So I want to show the audience about what happens when we unite. And if we can just listen to this particular post, it was a good one.
The war, not to another country, to a native nation. And the men who broke them were Red Cloud and Crazy Horse. They named it progress. But every road they carved was through the bones of those who stood in their way. It all started with the Bozeman Trail, cut straight through sacred Lakota land. The U.S. wanted the gold fields and didn't care who they had to kill to get there. They built that road knowing it violated their own treaty, because greed always comes before promises. But Red Cloud and Crazy Horse weren't about to beg. They gave them one warning. Step into our land and we'll bury you in it. The U.S. government sent troops and built forts, arrogant enough to think a paper treaty meant anything. Red Cloud didn't meet them at the table. He met them on the battlefield with Crazy Horse leading the charge. They united the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, and unleashed hell. They didn't target settlers. They hunted soldiers. Ambush after ambush. Forts starved out. Supply lines cut until the U.S. military couldn't breathe. And then came the massacre that broke their pride. The Fetterman Fight. 81 soldiers marched out chasing shadows. Crazy Horse led the decoy and drew them into a trap. Every single one of them wiped out, left frozen in the snow as proof the U.S. wasn't invincible. For 2 brutal years, the U.S. couldn't win, and Red Cloud and Crazy Horse weren't fighting for peace. They were fighting for survival. In the end, the U.S. government did what it swore it never would. They surrendered, signed the Treaty of Fort Laramie, abandoned every fort, and walked away. The only time in U.S. history a native nation forced them to admit defeat. But like so many promises made, it didn't last. The moment gold was found in the Black Hills, the Treaty of Fort Laramie was torn apart. And just like so many others before it, that treaty was nothing more than another promise broken. Because greed always speaks louder than any promise.
I thought that was relevant because, you know, this brother just said that we're going to need each other, right? Just like the Lakotas and the Cheyennes and the Arapaho needed each other. Right? And then Crazy Horse, we have to develop this warriorship, right? That Crazy Horse, he said he led the charge, right? There's always some myth behind these great warriors. He wasn't afraid to die. And he wasn't afraid to die because they killed his family. When you kill a person's family, you're not afraid to die.
Even in the Mexico and those areas, the same values were held. No fear.
Yeah.
Never fear.
Yeah. Well, we're one person. Like the northern natives and the Mexican indigenous individuals, we have a lot in common, and you're right. And you're right. You know, fear was not one of them. Right. They had, and then they also had this medicine about them, right? They had this spirit about them. And Crazy Horse had a protector that said that he wouldn't be killed by a bullet. So he would stand in front of them and let the bullet try to, hit them, but he had a medicine that didn't allow them. They would miss. And he wasn't afraid to stand in front of it. And I could see a person who lost his family, kind of wanting it, like, just take me out. I don't want to fight no more. I don't want to, they killed everything I loved. But
there's nothing to
lose. Yeah, he nothing to lose, right? Like him, Geronimo, and all the other great warriors that fought for their communities. We fought with integrity, and that integrity comes from way, way back, thousands of years ago. Where we were going to do the last. What video was the last one that we were going to share with the community? Oh, was that it?
Well, yeah, as far as videos, but there was the Tlatuani Cuauhtémoc.
Right. So
son.
Exactly. So that fight that the northern natives had and defeated these colonials has to resurface, because there are some ancient prophecies that were put in our place that describe what is to happen. And that was the awakening of our communities, the awakening of our communities to our sacred medicines, to our sacred ceremonies, to break these colonial ties with people who were always disingenuous from the beginning. Even when you defeated them, even when you spared their lives, even when you spared the lives of their families, they came back and found a way to still attack you and take things away they said that they weren't going to do. So how do you continue to build or believe in people who have no genuine truth to them? There's no way of dealing that. So instead of trying to change them, we need to focus all that energy into our own communities. And we need to figure out how we can get along. How can we come together and keep our community safe and follow in the line of our ancestral prophecy, our great leader Cuauhtémoc, who said our son would return, and that the great, 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 great grandchildren will begin to remember our ancient ways and practice our sacred sciences and understand the rhythms of nature, which we all live in. Even the oppressor lives in it. We just got to come to a place as a community, come together and not emotionally drive everything. We need to be aware and organized. Just like those people that came out in the communities, in the neighborhoods with their bullhorns telling everyone, ICE, don't open the door, we're here, we're filming, don't be scared, we have your back. What's going to be the follow-up of that? What's the flyer? What's the number they can call? What's the building they can go to find safety? We need to get to those places. I tried to share these stories today about heroes who had no fear. We have to start to learn how to develop no fear. Not no fear to break a window or to hurt someone, but no fear to do what's necessary to protect your community, your family, the children, the elders, everything that's alive, really, nature. All those things are relevant to us. And moons and stars, they don't have a connection with that. They think it's irrelevant to them.
Right. And like that brother was saying, Gary, in his dream, he said that we're part of all of nature. That's widely held native belief, and he says that if we start to listen, go out there, and he said take a walk, go to the bush and pray, for example, and you can start to connect with the nature, and they will tell you how to navigate in this world, how to make the medicine, how to fight, where to go, where to live.
Right. I mean,
we'll receive all the messages once you connect.
Another thing I know about like Sitting Bull and Crazy Horses, they're individuals that used to isolate themselves in nature. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so that makes sense. Like being able to.
And they would fast.
Yeah, fast a lot. Yeah, exactly. Fasting was a big thing for them as well.
Definitely, and sweat lodge.
Mm-hmm. So these are the. So we're already giving you skills, right? The skills of learning to go find a temescali where you're going to connect and you're going to feel good and you're going to challenge yourself. Because remember, the temescalis are not supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to challenge yourself. That's the way the prayer gets heard. And then when you come out at temescali, the prayer starts. The prayer isn't start and finish in the temescali. The prayer starts when you get out, because you still got to do the work. You still got to face everything that you need to face and do the work that you need, because you want change in your life. It's not just doing the ceremony. It's not just reading the book about your identity. It's not just, we have to put the whole piece of the puzzle together. That's one thing that I could really attest to my 25 years of walking this road, is that I had to put my diet together. I had to put my spirituality together. I had to put my identity together. I had to put my family together. I had to put my community together. What are my perspective on all these things that make my reality?
Right. You'll only be able to help other people once you help yourself.
Yeah. So that's another. So that's what we're trying to create here at LA Natives Podcast, is that every listener, that every person that comes on this mic has the strength to lead themselves, lead by example, lead in a good way. As the Lakota say, walk in beauty. When you have the perspective of walking in beauty, then everything is sacred around you. Even the challenge that's coming from the enemy, that's a sacred gift. Can you keep your blood flowing? It's a sacred gift to have enemies, because it brings the closeness of your community together, right? It takes a lot to blow a bullhorn and to put your, even if you're a citizen, they could still mess with you. They could still say, hey, you know what? You're being you're being a, what do they call, noise? Vandal, a nuisance, right? There you go. Yeah. So, and they can arrest you for that, but you're putting yourself on the line, right? I believe that there's an ability to have journalism, like independent journalism and blogs and video vlogs about this, but that are not really concerned about how many followers they have. Just concentrate on writing a good story. Concentrate on doing a good video. Don't concentrate on getting viral. That has nothing to do with what you're doing, especially when and if we break those down into regions, like little spaces, and then connect those regions into one big nation, then progress, I think, starts to happen. We have to use technology to our advantage in our way to contribute to what we're seeing is a violation of human rights with the Chrome Detention Center, stripping people from the street. That's inhumane. It's scary. People get, fearful of even coming out, going to school, going to work.
Yeah, I mean, there's Mexicans refusing to come into the U.S. to work now, even though they're already asking some to come.
Yeah. So, and why would you come here?
On a visa, they're asking, come legally, but they're refusing already. So that's what's going to happen. And the U.S. looks like an uninhabitable place right now, hostile.
Right.
5 really gifted factory workers from Mexico to staff our factories and to get them TN visas. We were going to bring them legally to our country to work in our factories. Very talented management people. every single one declined our offer, not because of money, because they cited hostile U.S. climate toward Mexican nationals, fearing potential discrimination in this country. What a terrible way to run a country.
You know what? European colonial descent has to be very careful in this time. I'm just straight out. Not in a way that's going to be violent towards them, but their next 50 years, it's going to really determine on how the globe views them.
Right. Yes.
Because no one's going to tolerate another Hitler type thing. And that's the problem that the current administration is having, is that they think that the population of America feels that way.
I'm so happy that the homie snuck in a cell phone.
Yeah.
How the fuck did he do that, dude?
They probably just didn't check him.
Bro, he had it up his butt.
Yeah,
you know
that's what I was thinking.
That or because they're hurt.
Because I've been to county, bro. They fucking strip you naked right there in front of you, dog.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're doing that here because they're so.
And keep in mind,
many.
this is just in Florida. This is probably going down, and it's even worse everywhere across the nation.
Yeah.
Especially in LA, bro. I'm sure in LA it's fucking sardines in there.
Yeah, well,
they're all like sardines.
We don't know because maybe they are checking for cell phones in this one and they didn't get a sneak in one. You know what I mean? So we don't know what the conditions are in any detention center. We knew what the conditions were when they had kids in cages, but we can just kind of guess on what they're doing to adults. I mean, it was pretty inhumane when they had children.
No unknown numbers. Call with the public number, please.
So
just Google Voice won't pick it up.
Right. And everyone has an opinion here. So let's hopefully that we'll keep on topic and understand that, these are some very serious times and we're trying to inform our community to come together and be brave enough to come up with solutions to keep our brothers and sisters that come here in a migration way to make a better life for themselves and their family. And just treat them, just treat them right. Don't hurt them. Don't psychologically torture them. Don't house them in facilities that are not big enough to house them. Feed them every day. Give them water every day. What's this once a day or what every other day? Was it every other day, Wally, or is it once a day? 24
hours, so per day.
Yeah, per day you get 1 cup of water. And when you say 1 cup, you're talking about 8 ounces. And they're not feeding them, right?
And they're not feeding enough food. They're hungry, starving.
Yeah. So they're just getting 1 cup of water. It's pretty much equivalent to
no medical attention either.
And no medical attention. So that, if you have an infection, if you're diabetic, if you came out from a surgery, if you have stitches, I mean, there's so many variables of
I even heard stories where, I guess the illegal immigrant is from, let's say, El Salvador, and then they're sending them to like Venezuela.
Right.
They have no idea where they're
vice
from.
versa. Yeah.
Right. No money, no way to communicate, and just a torture.
They tried to do that with Mexicans too, but the president right away said, no, you got to send them to Mexico.
Right.
So they sent them to Mexico, but everyone else is getting thrown all over the place.
Right. So, I mean, these things just need to be brought to light because notice how the mainstream media doesn't talk about this, how it's overpopulated, right?
Right.
And and what are the conditions are, because those conditions of getting 1 cup of water every 24 hours, I mean, not even criminals who have murdered lots of people and are on solitary, they get 3 meals a day, they get water every day, the basics.
They have to shut down Chrome Detention Center immediately, and there will be a protest this weekend there.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Right on, brother. What were you thinking today?
Well, we're all concerned about the present state of the country.
Yes.
And that's it. That's my concern. But I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Can you turn down the podcast on your end, please?
Well, we're all concerned about the present state of the country.
Yeah, go ahead and turn down your podcast on your end.
Having a little technical difficulties.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah, you can't listen to the podcast at the same time that you're on the phone. So, I mean, but we replay it. We upload it to YouTube. So,
Yes, definitely.
it's
Is it tough times? But brown people, we've never had a break. We always go through this, decade after decade, and we're always battling it constantly.
because these are our ancestral lands.
Exactly.
These are this never.
We don't
gonna
have
go.
nowhere else to go.
Exactly. This is where we. This has been us for.
It's been for 500 years
More
plus.
Like thousands of years we've been, a part of this land mass, and it's natural for other people to want to have the urge to, go to other places, experience other places, make money, make a living. We have another caller. Oh, right on. Hello?
We have another caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Hi, this is Quetzali. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
How you doing?
Well, we've been enjoying the show. Thank you so much for giving this to the community, especially during these very difficult times.
Right.
And truly appreciate all the work you do, Zero.
Oh, thank you.
And we look forward to Wednesdays.
Oh, right on. Well, I mean, your voice is important too, because we have to understand this. And, this is what I'm really trying to encourage. And I'm really happy that females, sharing their voice, just like we got Gwali here now. And your voice is very important, because we have to somehow understand and start to decolonize ourselves from a patriarchal view to a matriarchal view. And once we do that, we have a balance, right? We understand the delicacy of our community, which is our female, partner here on this earth. So I'm glad that you called, and please, what do you think? How are you feeling?
I'll tell you how I'm feeling. Is obviously I'm feeling upset and in pain, witnessing what's happening to not only our people, but just to all people of color right now. And, seeing the injustices that have always been there, right? This is nothing new. This is what made this country so powerful, right? Is from the backs of slaves and from our own people, from our blood. So this is nothing new. It's just come to the surface. We're able to see it more right now because there's more light. But this has always been there. It's nothing new. And for people to kind of be surprised by everything, it kind of surprises me that they're surprised. But at the same time, it's kind of good, I guess, because now people are actually being forced to wake up, Because we're being forced to look at a reality that we may not want to face, because some of us have been kind of comfortable, right? We've been plugged into MSM feeding us lies. We've been plugged into Big Pharma injecting us with their venom. We've been plugged into GMOs and all that, making us sick, right? So this is probably a good time for all of us to really wake up and question what is happening in our circles, in our communities, and what we could do to, as you said, create these safe spaces, especially for women, for children, for elders. But my question to you is this, and I know that you have a visitor, Gwali, there. And Gwali, I have a question for you. I know that you're advocating for safe spaces, sister, but there's been a concern for what's been happening.
We're not going to discuss.
But why not?
Rumors. Because there's a lot of important, dire topics that we need to get through.
I agree.
That they impact people's lives.
Because we're allowing people who have created problems for other sisters into our sacred spaces. And I'm not coming here to attack you. I'm coming here to ask you, what is going on with that story? Because we cannot allow for people, men, who are being accused of raping young women to come into our spaces.
It's interesting how people on the internet, they think they know something.
Right.
Based off a rumor. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Well, like Zero said, stay on topic, right, Zero?
Well, I mean, look, I didn't interject because I don't like to, muffle people's expression. You're very kind at the beginning, and then it seemed like it was going to be about the topics that we were talking about. And I made it very clear that this isn't really a place. Although someone was hurt, and I don't want to put minimal things or if someone says they're hurt, you just got to acknowledge and validate.
Yeah, I was hurt. I was one of those people.
This person was hurt. And, I've had people on this platform that other people have opinions, because Gwali had an issue with somebody that I had on this platform, and we discussed it and we talked about it. And I said, well, okay, let's give her a voice. I don't know anything about this other stuff. I'm not really in the circles where this is an issue. Dating people and things getting out of control. I'm not really a part of those circles. I'm a part of the circles that come and try to heal the community with whatever wisdoms and things come from. So I understand that people have issues with other people, but when it comes to, it's kind of like we're running in unison, and then someone goes, boom, and they start tripping my feet. And it's like, well, why are you trying to trip my feet? Oh, because I have to tell you about this.
Nothing to do with me.
Right. It's nothing to do with what we're trying to do in terms of like advancing forward our community to these safe spaces. Now, if we were bringing the person in question here, advertising whatever he's doing, or have even mentioning his name, that's a different issue. Because then I would have to bring to my attention what the issue was, and that's it. But when I'm bringing on people that didn't commit anything, I think that's an issue of like a community thing. And maybe it's a good thing that we're talking about it on air, but I really don't like to have personal conversations on air, because at the end of the day, both of you guys get hurt.
And at the end of the day, Zero, LA Niz podcast is bigger than all of us.
Right. It's really about the issues that we bring up. And to be in a space where we're trying to embarrass or put someone in a space of uncomfortability in a public space, I'm not going to.
Because I have a lot of followers and.
Well, for whatever the case may be,
people might be jealous.
Hey, well, trust me, it comes with the territory. I run an underground hip hop blog. I've had death threats. I've had motherfuckers following me to my car.
Same.
Like it's nuts what social media could do, right, Zero?
It becomes, look, our emotional states are manipulated through these things. Yeah. Like it would be one thing if we were like just a party crew and we're trying to make money and we're trying to be the best party crew and come and drink beer over here at this bar that we do a promotion at. And
this is not a podcast that's like constantly shoving to buy our shirts every single day, right, Zero?
I think I haven't even announced that we even have shirts, because the issues that face our community are more important than me trying to sell merchandise. I figure I have other times in social media to put some effort into that, and then I'll sell shirts and I'll do what I need to do to support myself and to keep my vision going. But my vision is to be able to bypass issues It's kind of like this. This is the way I described it earlier. It's like our community goes, yeah, we need to build these structures. We need to build these communities. We need to build these circles. But first we got to go sweep that parking lot over there that has nothing to do with building our structures and building our communities. Yeah, let's go spend 10 hours doing that. And I don't want to minimize people's hurt. I don't want to do that. But we're on LA Natives for 1 hour and a half. And there's a lot of issues that go on in our community, and there's a lot of inspiration that happens with this show. So again, I don't want to minimize people's pain. It's very important that it's addressed, but I'm not a psychologist, nor am I a counselor in a way that's going to bring resolution to those type of issues. But I mean, that's the only thing I have to say. We have to keep it in unity, even though we disagree, even though all those things are there. We have a caller. Okay.
We have a caller.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Zero?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, podcast?
How you doing?
What's up, chat? This is Lennon, the Mexican stoner fool.
Oh,
you know me.
What's up, Lennon?
Blaze Beauty.
Lennon.
What's up, man?
I'm chilling. Dude.
Shout out y'all. Shout out Plant Based Salon and all the vendors.
Yeah.
Peace to everybody.
Right on.
Tonight I'm just painting and figured I'd throw on a podcast. I'm getting ready for the Mexica New Year, and I was also hoping this would be an opportunity for me to shout something out.
Sure.
I hope it's not too off topic or.
No,
I don't
go
think
ahead.
it's
Go ahead.
topic, but
shout it out.
Okay, so we as the organizers at Mexica New Year, we got hit with some taxes with the city, the Parks and Rec. Dealing with the city is pretty difficult. I've had my experience with Mexica New Year, shutting down the streets and stuff, and so what we're doing, because of some help, we have a badass Makwawi. We're gonna be doing a raffle, and nice. I just want to say stay tuned, possibly for maybe on my page or Diosito Jaguares page. Just keep an eye out, and we'd all appreciate actually if everybody tries to participate in this raffle. It's really awesome. You guys are gonna get a badass Makwawi. Out of the kindness and generosity of a fellow vendor. So, it's going to be real cool. I'm going to probably put together something as well and make some more raffles and probably, just boost up the funds. A lot of us put our own money out of our own pocket, and a lot of us, some people go into debt. So I was just hoping I could shout that out with respect. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Love what you guys are doing. And shout out the community.
Well, good luck, and anybody.
And thank you.
Yeah, anyone who can contribute to making that event happen. It's pretty. For a good cause. It's pretty long going event. Yeah, just.
We hope to see you all there.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
Stop by the booth, roll one up, kick it. Survive.
See you there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
So, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and exit respectfully, and I'll keep watching you guys. Thanks, guys.
Right on.
Okay. See you later. Yeah, the event's gonna be this weekend, all 3 days: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And so look, here's an example, bro. Like me and Jag, we're community members. Mm-hmm. I respect everything he does. I hope he feels the same about me, but we have our differences. But I don't like to publicly shame anyone. So why would I bring up anything that I have personal with him to the public?
Right.
So I'm hoping that things get resolved in any circles that need to get resolved. I'm validating everybody's pain in that situation. Please be careful with who you hang out with, who you decide to be close to, because it comes with consequences.
It sure does.
And my heart goes out to whoever was hurt in this situation, and in both ways, because sometimes as males we don't know how to control ourselves or whatever the case may be. I don't know the details of this situation, but I do know one thing: we are one community. We have one heart, one mind, one vision, and we're trying to heal our community together. So I'm hoping that this will be enough for people to feel validated about what happened and what needs to happen. But our people are being subjugated to very horrendous conditions. Our people are being kidnapped from streets who have legal documents. I hope that we focus in on community and come together and understand that there are things to celebrate, So, show up to JAG's event. It's going to be at in Highland Park. What's the name of the park?
It's going to be off of 4702 North Figueroa Street. It's a free event.
Yeah. Go support it, man. He puts a lot of work into it, and we want to see all our brothers. I want to see all my brothers succeed.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've been to almost all his events.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. It's just that, we have our differences, and I'm not going to be shy about that, but I do respect him for putting his effort and his time into whatever his vision is. And
he puts a lot of energy into these,
yeah,
and it doesn't walk away with pockets full of money either a lot of the times, unfortunately.
Right.
So any support is really good.
Yeah, so
like that raffle he mentioned.
Yeah, go support it. Do whatever you can. Support the artists that are going to be there. And have a good time. Learn some things. There's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge that go to that event. There's going to be some top-notch artisans. I mean, if you want your jade necklace, your jade plugs, I mean, it's going to be there. So shout out to the Mexica New Year this year.
Shout out to Jag, man.
Yeah, shout out
to Jag.
And then I also want to mention, too, that I will be playing on April 18th in Riverside with Immortal Technique. So go get your tickets if you want to go to that show. Let me know. DM me. I think they gave me some tickets to sell. So if you need some, let me know. The LA crew that is willing to go out to Riverside and see the show. It's going to be an intimate show, 500 people. It's pretty much sold out already, but I have a few more tickets.
Hey, man, that Immortal Technique show is going to be lit. How's it going
to be lit? It's time, It's like that brother speaks about,
you know what? Rest in peace, Chino Excel, man, because, man, that tore my heart right there.
How he died tore my heart, man. I think, and he's really talented. And I think sometimes we get caught up in not getting the commercial success that we need or we want. And I'm not trying to have an opinion on it. I just think that us artists struggle with supporting our families and because we have a certain vision, a certain way that we're approaching the art. And it's unfortunate that brother died so young because he was really talented. He was really good. And he just never, I don't know about, getting to those levels. He was always at the big shows and stuff, but he never really had a hit record is what I'm saying. But, shout out to Technique for coming out and doing 2 shows. He's doing one in Riverside, one in Santa Ana. So, cop your tickets for that. We'll be at the one on April 18th, Riverside, The Hideaway. Shout out to MC Life for inviting, coming to the podcast and just inviting me to open up for them. But yeah, man.
Quinto Sol.
And then Quinto Sol is
April 3rd.
April 3rd. Oh, yes. So April 3rd in East LA off of Atlantic and Pomona. Quinto Sol will be playing April 3rd. So I think we just need to come out to these events, and maybe these events don't have a political agenda to it, but it's good to kind of have that space where we're happy, where we're, kind of listening to the same type of consciousness, and so that's another event. Quinto Sol plays their monthly, so this will be their April monthly event, April 3rd. I forgot the name of check their Instagram, Quinto Sol, at Quinto Sol, and they'll be playing there on April 3rd. So we got April 18th, Moral Technique, Riverside at the Hideaway. That'll be Zero with Immortal Technique. We got Quinto Sol April 3rd in East Los Angeles, off Atlantic and Pomona. And then we got the Mexican New Year coming up this weekend. So much success to the brothers that put together that event. All the vendors, I hope they sell out. I hope they sell all their merchandise. I hope the community gets to experience a little bit of our old ways.
How was that one show?
What was that? What show? The Clica show?
Yeah.
Oh, it was cool. Shout out to La Clica. Yeah, it was cool, man. I think, sometimes we struggle with the sound, but, we just adapt as artists. And, I saw Brujas Brew, so shout out to Kiddo and Zen. Sister Irie wasn't there, but, they were representing East Los Angeles, and, they're dope MCs, man. And it was cool. I always like, I always like the challenge of being in front of people who don't know really what to expect from my art, but somehow, some way it penetrates. And, I got a lot of good, respect from all of the OGs that were there. And I appreciate them. So inviting me to do, perform my art to that little tribe, they're like a bike tribe. Nice. They're like warriors, man. They go and they ride all over East Los Angeles as a pack, and it's amazing. So they're called La Clica. So shout out to La Clica. Thank you for inviting me. And it was a cool event. So those are the things that are out there, community.
I know it's really good for those like the young listeners, if there are any out there, who are barely getting interested in their native roots, their indigenous roots, their Aztec roots, or whatever kind of roots they have, to go to this Mexican New Year event, because that's where you can connect with the community and learn and absorb and remember your culture.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I remember being young and going to a powwow and being affected. And somehow, some way, there's somebody in the crowd that affects you and says the right thing to you and puts you on the right direction.
No, those events definitely hit you hard. Like, you see all the vendors, you see all the indigenous merchandise, you see that jade necklace, you're like, damn, I want to get that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I felt when I first, that's what really pulled me in.
And then you ask for the price, they're like $400 and you're like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah. You're like, oh,
well,
okay.
I'm going to go to fucking Mexico and grab it myself.
They're not cheap. Those things are not cheap.
But they're made with like a lot of care and attention. And
absolutely. They're handcrafted.
Artistry, yeah.
Right.
But, sometimes those faces stare right at you. And sometimes that one you never forget, and then you want it so bad, you know what I'm saying? Then you'll pay the $800.
It's worth it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
penny.
You're investing in yourself. You're investing in what reminds you, what grounds you, what you're connected with. But yeah, you have anything last to say? Any last words, Miss Wowley?
Shout out to the chat, man.
Yeah, shout out to chat, man. They were active.
It was lit. Shout out to all the calls.
Yes, and I hope we were able to address every single bit of them. Anyone who had issues, anyone who had announcements, feel free. This is the platform to do it on. But yeah, man, as we move forward in this time, we have to understand our unity and the power in it. Our unity will make or break us. But I know one thing. I know that we're all tired of being treated inhumanely. This isn't something new. This has been happening for decades, for hundreds of years. When you take over a land and you displace the original inhabitants of that land, you're not treating them with care and kindness. You're kind of treating them however you want to treat them. And that seems like that's where we're at nowadays, where the U.S. government or this country has used up the labor and hard work and sacrifice of individuals who come from very far places just to have a better life, and to treat them like animals, to not care that they don't have enough water or food is not the way I want to raise my children. It's not the way I'm going to point my 7 generations to. And I think it's coming to an end because even the whites are tired of it.
Yeah. Shout out to them for they've been actively appearing at the protests.
Right. And they should be. They should be the front
I think
line.
they're learning, yeah.
Yeah, they should be our front line. And we should commend them for being the front line.
For sure.
And the minute we start erasing the division of race, because race is a narrative brought over by the Vatican to displace and I'm not saying not to be prideful of who you are and where you come from, but in terms of being a hierarchy because you're from a certain place is what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know, I'm a part of a lot of things in social media platforms, and I know on one of the platforms, people get caught up with, oh, well, I have my BIA card and you're not really a native. And I think when all that stuff dies, then we shift forward. And that doesn't mean to forget where you come from and what your medicines are and what your tribe is and what your name is. But those are very intimate things. You're not supposed to share those anyways. This is supposed to be a general understanding, but the very sacred things are very kept close to you.
Yeah. I mean, our ancestors did have their own views on race that were not based in hierarchy at all.
Right.
They weren't racist, but they were racial, like family groups, like indigenous people, red, black, yellow, like the medicine wheel. Those were already there. Mm-hmm. We had our own family races, you know. But different concepts, totally.
Yeah. I think just, you know, once you put a label on something, then you can judge it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like going, oh, African Americans, they all steal. And then all of a sudden, like, but right. if you just said, oh yeah, those guys over there, they all steal. It's kind of a general, it's not, but once you put all the black, you know, Afro people, they're all steal. Then everyone just has a view because you categorized it, now you labeled it. And so we have to erase.
Like brown people are lazy or
right,
criminals.
when they're completely opposite. Then, you know,
the opposite.
They're the hardest working people in the restaurant. They're the ones that stay the latest. They're the ones that take the shifts that start at 2 a.m., that just clean up people's messes. I mean, that's the last thing that they are, is lazy and someone who is a mooch, someone who just feeds off of the government. Now, I'm not going to go and say there that they're not, that they're perfect, because a lot of them have a drinking dysfunction. There's a lot of machismo in our communities.
There's a lot of trauma in our communities.
Exactly. There's a lot of things that we need to address ourselves. But the one thing that we need to tackle, I think that's 911, is our unity.
Right.
Our unity. See, when we become united, then we start to look at our neighbor and we go, hey, instead of watching my neighbor get drunk, how about I invite him to go for a walk or go for a run or work out with him? And then now I eliminated him from, or I helped him, not eliminated, but I helped him, become that community. That's what a community is. A community isn't that we live on the same block. A community is we know each other, we care for each other. When we see someone hurt, we kind of try to help as best as we can. We don't try to solve the problem, but we offer a helping hand.
Yes.
This has always been our way.
Yes.
Indigenous cultures have always functioned. This is how we lived here for thousands and thousands of years in very harsh environments.
Right. By sticking together and being generous and in community.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So the minute we go back to those principles and practice them on a daily basis, then we will have grown and have moved forward in the prophecies of our ancestors.
Yeah.
Right? Because when he said that we would remember, when Cuauhtémoc said we would remember, he not once did he say we would be divided about what's right and what's wrong. The remembering part is us becoming a community once again with all nations across Turtle Island. It's not just Mexican people. It's not just Mexican indigenous. It's all indigenous.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a human tribe. We are the children of Mother Earth. We have relations with all elements. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has to do with how you treat people around you and how you treat the earth itself. This is what we will be judging people on. This is what makes us this will help us make the decision whether we have a long relationship, a short relationship, a distant relationship, or a close relationship. How do you treat women? How do you treat your children? How do you treat the earth? How do you treat your brother? We need to have that type of focus. Treating each other in a loving way. Enough hating each other. Enough trying to make someone smaller than you. Try to do it the opposite. Try to make them as strong as you. Try to make them stronger than you. When I look at my children, I try to make them stronger than me. And I already have a lot of discipline. You know, my son was like, Dad, why didn't you eat for so long? I said, I'm training my body. I'm training my body to know that it doesn't need what the mind is telling it. It needs what the heart wants. And the heart wants to be disciplined and accomplished. So this is why I do it. I'm trying to convey that message to my 7th generation. If I teach him a certain way by example, not by force, but by example, with love and guidance, then our community will return. Because that's the prophecy of Cuauhtémoc. That our love will return for each other. Because that love is rooted in our culture and in our ways of living. Stay together, stay strong, stay wise, stay humble. We'll see you next week. Tlazocamatli.
Tlazocamatli. Piali.